B or C?
I'd probably say a B minus.
I give him a B.
F.
A B plus.
I'll C plus.
Maybe a C. You know, he's got a lot on his plate.
He's just being played by the far left. He's not even in charge. So what difference does it make?
Considering the circumstances, yeah, probably pretty good. I mean, great, probably a B.
President Biden getting mixed grades from voters as he sets to return here to D.C. from his South Carolina vacation to sign the bill known as the Inflation Reduction Act Tuesday, though bipartisan analysis now suggests it will do the opposite, at least to begin with. Let's discuss it more with tonight's Dream Team panel, Democratic strategist Kevin Walling and former special assistant to President Trump, Marc. Welcome back, gentlemen. Great to see both of you.
Hey, Shannon, good to see you.
Okay, so this was the exchange between John Carl over at ABC and Karine Jean-Pierre talking about the name of this thing, the Inflation Reduction Act.
Isn't it almost Orwellian? How can you call it Inflation Reduction Act when the nonpartisan experts say it's not going to?
It's just, it was the way that Republicans did that was so that it could make an argument that is false. It is going to fight inflation. It is, it has been proven. It has been said by economists across the board on the Republican side and the Democrat side.
Okay, well, the Penn-Wharton budget model, which is widely very well respected, said this: the act would have no meaningful effect on inflation in the near term, but would reduce inflation by about 0.1 percentage point by the middle of the first decade. These point estimates, however, are not statistically different from zero, indicating a low level of confidence that the legislation would have any measurable impact on inflation. Kevin?
Well, Shannon, I'm happy to argue about the name and not talk about the great things in this bill, but that's what I like to talk about. Listen, we're saving healthcare costs in this country. For the first time, Medicare is able to negotiate drug costs on prescription drugs, something Donald Trump tried to do and failed, and Biden was able to get it done. We're extending energy tax credits. We're cutting the deficit, something else Donald Trump tried to do in the 4 years, even before COVID, and it wasn't done. So we can haggle about the name of it, but this is a great bill for the American people that President Biden is going to sign tomorrow at the White House.
So, Marc, what about those things that Kevin and other Democrats say are tucked in that will actually be a net benefit to Americans?
Well, but it's not what the American people are talking about. I was in Zuki Lake, Michigan recently, and no one's talking about New Deal tax credits for green energy. They're talking about lowering inflation, lowering energy prices, lowering the cost of groceries, and this bill is going to do none of that. In fact, at the America First Policy Institute where I work, we had 369 economists sign a letter saying it's going to make inflation worse. That's 3 times the number of the economists touted by the White House.
All right, we'll see how much that matters to voters in the fall. But before that, we have some important primaries, including coming up in Wyoming. This is the headline from the New York Times editorial board on Sunday. Liz Cheney and Lisa Murkowski face their voters. They say while Ms. Cheney appears likely to lose her primary on Tuesday, she is not sounding any regrets. Quote, if the cost of standing up for the Constitution is losing the House seat, she recently told the Times, then that's a price I'm willing to pay. Democracy needs more profiles and courage like that. Marc, your response.
Well, you know, Liz Cheney would like to make this about one issue, but it's not about one issue. We've had other people who have stood up on the 2020 election and won re-election. She doesn't represent the voters. It's not her seat. It's the voters' seat. And I think that she will be a former congressperson come January 3rd because she doesn't represent the views of the people of Wyoming.
Kevin, is this going to make any difference for her? January 6th is already held. The committee's already held several hearings. They've interviewed, tons of people, thousands of documents. We understand there's more coming. There's going to be a report. Do you think if she loses that seat for good as a result of losing the primary tomorrow, she'll be even more animated and passionate about going forward with the time that she has left on this January 6th issue?
Yeah, it's a good question, Shannon. Listen, Marc and I agree. The voters of Wyoming are going to decide this. And certainly Congresswoman Cheney has made her work on this committee and standing up for American democracy the cornerstone of her campaign and her final argument just today in ads before Wyoming voters. But listen, this committee still has a lot of work to do. They're going to have a lot more hearings and witnesses come January 6th. And we'll see if she's even more free to work on that if she loses tomorrow.
We will watch that. We will track Alaska and talk about Senator Murkowski up there as well. Brett Baer will join us tomorrow night for special coverage. In the meantime, Kevin and Marc, thanks for stopping in.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
Coming up, it's been a year since Afghanistan fell to the Taliban and the withdrawal of U.S. troops from the country. and our service members, 13 of them who died in that process. But how many Americans and allies are still left behind in Afghanistan? You might be surprised. We'll talk about that next.